family in Pennsylvania cleaned out their father's den after he passed in 2023. He had a wall of stereo equipment, silver faceplates, wood cabinets, tangled cables, a smell of warm dust and old solder. The family boxed it all up, drove it to a donation center, and left it on the loading dock. Every piece of it. 2 days later, a picker walked in, found a Nakamichi cassette deck and a Sansui receiver in those boxes, paid the thrift store $65 total, and resold them within the week for over $5,000. The family had no idea. They saw old stereo equipment. The picker saw 2 brand names that meant something very specific to a very specific buyer. That's not a coincidence. That's the way this market works. There is a small group of vintage hi-fi brands whose equipment has become more valuable with every passing year. Not because the gear is old, but because the engineering behind it was so far ahead of its price point that nothing made sense has matched it for the money. These brands don't all have famous names. Some went bankrupt. Some were house labels for chain stores. Some were tiny companies from countries you wouldn't associate with audio equipment. And the people who know those names are not going to tell you what they're worth while handing you $40 at your garage sale. So here are 10 brands, starting with the ones most people laugh at, and ending with the one that could put a down payment on a car. If any of these names are sitting on a shelf in your house right now, do not touch them until you've finished this list. Number 10. Realistic. This was the house brand of Radio Shack. That sentence alone is why Realistic gear ends up in landfills. People hear Radio Shack and think cheap walkie-talkies and tangled cables in a junk drawer. But Realistic's flagship equipment from the late 70s was contract manufactured in Japan by the same factories building gear for Pioneer and Kenwood. The STA-2000D receiver had 75 watts per channel, a dual-gate MOSFET tuner, and real walnut veneer side panels. Clean working examples now sell for $300 to $700. The Mach 1 and Mach 2 speakers, built with Marantz-grade crossovers and heavy cabinets, sell for $200 to $500 a pair. The brand is dead, the name is a joke, and the gear is quietly making money for every picker who knows the model numbers to look for. Number 9. Nikko. You've almost certainly never heard of them. In Japan, Nikko was known for industrial-grade manufacturing and military-spec reliability. They applied that philosophy to consumer audio in the 70s, and the result was equipment that was overbuilt, undermarketed, and almost entirely unknown in the mainstream. The NR1415 receiver put out 175 watts per channel with a 5-gang tuning capacitor and phase lock loop multiplex circuitry. It retailed for $830 and today sells for $500 to $1,500. But nobody walks into an estate sale and gets excited about the word Nikko on a faceplate. That's the entire point. The brand has zero name recognition. The equipment has cult-level demand. That gap is where the money lives. Number 8. Optonica. This was Sharp Electronics' attempt to compete with Pioneer, Sansui, and Marantz at the top of the market. They created a separate luxury brand, built everything in Japan, and released some of the best engineered receivers and cassette decks of the late 70s. Then, they ran out of marketing budget. The brand never caught on. Sharp killed it, and the equipment became a ghost. The SA-5905 receiver, Optonica's flagship, is what collectors call the holy grail of sleeper hi-fi. 125 watts per channel, with a unique feature that lets you shut off the tuner section entirely to eliminate crosstalk. Clean units sell for $800 to $2,000. The name Optonica on a faceplate means nothing to anyone outside the collector world. Inside the collector world, it means the seller has no idea what they're holding. If that surprises you, the next one will change how you think about amplifiers entirely. Number 7. Phase Linear. Founded in 1970 by a 27-year-old engineer named Bob Carver, Phase Linear released the Model 700 power amplifier in 1972 and blew the entire industry apart. 350 watts per channel, at a time when most high-end amplifiers topped out at 85. The Crown DC300, the previous king, managed 150 watts and had a reputation for blowing up under load. The Phase Linear 700 didn't. It used high-power transistors originally designed for automotive ignition systems, had brushed aluminum faceplates with dual VU meters, and retailed for $749. The company was eventually sold, and the brand vanished. Today, the Model 700 sells for $500 to $1,600, depending on condition. The Model 400 and the rare 4000 preamp command similar prices. You will find Phase Linear gear at estate sales priced like junk because nobody recognizes the name. The people who built it changed the audio industry. The people selling it at garage sales have never heard the name. Number 6. Tandberg, a Norwegian company that made reel-to-reel tape decks so good that American presidents used them. Their equipment combined Scandinavian design, hand-built precision, and a reputation for reliability that made them nearly untouchable in the European market through the 60s and 70s. Then they went bankrupt in 1978. The audio line survived briefly under a spin-off, then faded entirely. The TR-2075 receiver now sells for $1,500 to $3,000. The TCD-314A cassette deck, a three-head dual capstan design with fewer than 1,000 units ever produced, goes for $2,000 to $3,500. Many collectors consider it superior to the Nakamichi Dragon. Parts are a nightmare, working units are vanishing, and most people in America have never heard the name Tandberg in their lives. That's the gap. Number 5. Micro Seiki, a Japanese manufacturer that made some of the most advanced turntables of the 70s and 80s, then disappeared. Completely. No acquisition, no rebrand, no zombie version putting the name on cheap Bluetooth speakers. Micro Seiki just stopped existing, and their turntables became artifacts. The DDX-1000 used a 2-kilogram die-cast aluminum platter, an external power supply, and could mount up to 3 tone arms simultaneously. Clean units with the original controller sell for $2,000 to $3,000. The higher-end models, the RX 5000 and the SX 8000, have sold for 5 figures. You could find a Micro Seiki turntable at a garage sale, and the seller wouldn't even be able to spell the brand. That's not an exaggeration. That's a Tuesday for anyone who knows this market. Number 4. Luxman. This is Japan's oldest audio manufacturer, founded in 1925, and it has always been overshadowed by bigger names. Marantz gets the nostalgia. Pioneer gets the recognition. Sansui gets the collector hype. Luxman gets quietly purchased by people who actually listen to their equipment. Their integrated amplifiers from the 70s, the L505, the L507, the L309, were built with alpine precision and a house sound that favored warmth and musicality over raw specifications. High-end models, like the CL35 tube preamp and the M6000 power amplifier, now command prices between $2,000 and $5,000. Luxman is the brand that collectors mention when they want to signal that they know more than the room. If you have one and you're about to sell it at a yard sale for $50, stop. Comment below and tell me the model number. I'd be happy to take a look. Number 3. Sansui. The name means mountain and water in Japanese, and the company started as a transformer manufacturer in 1947. That expertise in transformers gave Sansui amplifiers and receivers a sound character that collectors describe as deep, powerful, and physically present. Their gear from the 70s, the AU717 integrated amp, the 9090 dB receiver, the G9000, is now among the most sought-after vintage audio equipment in the world. A fully restored AU717 can compete with modern amplifiers costing thousands. The G33000, a 300-watt, two-piece monster, has sold for close to $10,000. Sansui went bankrupt in 2014. The brand was acquired by a holding company and stuck on cheap products that have nothing to do with the originals. The name stayed. The factory changed. The old equipment kept climbing in value because nothing being made under the current brand comes close. That's the decline narrative that runs through half the brands on this list. The name survived, the quality didn't, and the originals became collectible the moment the quality stopped. Number 2. Nakamichi. Most people see a cassette deck and think it belongs in a museum of dead technology. That's the wrong read. Nakamichi didn't make cassette decks. Nakamichi made precision instruments that happened to use cassette tape as a medium. The Dragon, introduced in 1982 at $1,800, was the first deck with automatic azimuth correction, a microprocessor that continuously aligned the playback head for maximum treble response. It posted the lowest speed variation and the highest dynamic range of any cassette deck ever manufactured. Working Dragons now sell for $4,000 to $6,000. Fully restored units have crossed $8,000. Even lesser models, the BX300, the CR7A, the ZX9, sell for hundreds to low thousands. If there is a Nakamichi cassette deck sitting in your parents' basement with a dusty tape still loaded in the tray, that deck is very likely worth more than the shelf it's sitting on, the furniture around it, and possibly the car in the garage. Don't donate it. Don't sell it at a yard sale. And above all, don't let someone walk up, tell you it's just an old tape player, and hand you $20. That person knows exactly what they're buying. Number 1. Macintosh. Founded in 1949 in Binghamton, New York. The name on the faceplate is understated. The glass panels are black, and the blue backlit power meters glow like something from a science fiction film. Macintosh equipment was built with a patented unity-coupled circuit that made their tube amplifiers measure better and last longer than anything else on the market. The MC275 power amplifier, introduced in 1961, is the most coveted piece of vintage audio equipment in the world. 75 watts per channel of pure tube power, chrome chassis, exposed KT88 tubes. Original units in working condition sell for $5,000 to $10,000. The C22 tube preamp, its natural companion piece, sells for $3,500 and up. Even their solid-state gear from the 70s, the MC2105 and MC2505 power amplifiers, regularly sells for $1,000 to $3,000. Macintosh is the brand where the information gap gets the widest, because the equipment doesn't look like what most people imagine when they think valuable. It looks like old laboratory gear. It looks like something a retired engineer kept behind his workbench, surrounded by tangled cables and old magazines. Exactly the kind of thing a family would box up and donate. Here's the pattern across all 10. The brand went extinct, or got acquired, or lost its reputation to a cheap, modern version of itself. The original equipment was engineered past what the market demanded. The people who recognize the name are collectors, not civilians. And the gap between what the equipment is worth and what the average person thinks it's worth is the engine that powers this entire market. So before you box it up, before you haul it to the curb, before you let anyone hand you cash without negotiating, flip the unit around, read the brand, check the model number, and search what it sold for. Not listed, sold. If you've got any of these brands sitting at home, subscribe, because this is the part of the market the resellers already know. Now you know it too.